Hi, welcome to the Ruby and Pearls knitting channel. My name is Leah and I'm coming to you from West Wales in the UK, where I live with my 2 dogs and my partner. I'm coming to you with a podcast episode today that has been long overdue. I can't remember what number it is, so I will put it on screen here. And I'm in a different location than I normally am because if you have watched my oldest videos, you'll know that I first started sort of in this corner on this blue armchair. But I prefer to film upstairs actually. I like, that's where all my yarn and all my knitting is. Well, my finished items and all my yarn. My knitting is primarily downstairs. But I am filming downstairs today because my girls both had an operation yesterday and they're currently not allowed to do stairs. There's many things they're not allowed to do, but they're struggling to listen. And so they like to follow me wherever I go, so I thought it's best if I film down here. They're both doing really well. They both had a routine spay, nothing too out of the ordinary, so they will be fine, but they need to take it easy for a little while. So I have quite a lot of finished objects to show you today. I'm going to try and keep this fairly short and sweet because I don't have all that much time to speak to you, but I have a couple of works in progress and I've kind of been putting this off. I haven't had much time, but the main reason I've actually been putting this episode off is that I've recently become a bit more of a monogamous knitter, and I wanted to touch on that briefly. By the way, the dogs are about, so if you hear noises, I'm very sorry. I won't be cutting everything out, but yeah, okay. Oh. As you can see, Pearl's doing fine. Good girl. You're gonna go back, please. Oh, cheeky. Do you think I can talk about my knitting? Right, so monogamous knitting. This is going to be a difficult episode today. Early. We'll try. If you're not familiar with the terminology of monogamous knitting, it is essentially a phase that I'm going through, but some knitters are always like that, in that some people like to just knit one project at a time. So they plan the project, they buy the yarn, they knit the item, they finish it, they start their next project. And I have historically not been a monogamous knitter at all. I've always liked having lots and lots of different projects on the go. And recently I discovered that I really enjoyed just turning to the one project every night. I have found work quite stressful and frustrating lately. And I think the sort of calming effect of having just the one project to turn to every night after work has been really nice. So I thought it would be a bit boring to have a podcast episode where I've only got one whip to share with you, because the whips is actually the part that I like watching the most when it comes to podcasts. But I cast on something new today. So I've got 2 projects on the go now. One is knit, one is crochet. So I thought that would be quite interesting for you to see. And we'll see now if Sweet Pearly will cooperate and let me show you my finished objects. We'll go in order of finishing. I'll try not to drop too many things on the way. The first thing I finished was a whip last time. And it is my Lotus Lake sweater. It's a little crinkled because this is a cotton linen silk yarn. This is Adrifil Elixir. So it crinkles quite easily when you sort of don't fold it really neatly. But it is finished. There's the beautiful lace at the bottom. It's also on the sleeves. And this was a test knit. I can't remember exactly when the pattern will be coming. But if you follow the designer, her name is Annijuutiknits, also known as Annijuutiknits. She has a podcast. She is really lovely. And if you go and follow her, you will see when this will be released. So it's also on the cuffs. And this is a wonderful, wonderful pattern. The only issue I've got is that I'm still not 100% happy with the neckline, but that is a bit of a me problem. I think she gives you guidance on how many stitches to pick up or what ratio to pick up, depending on whether you want a bit of a looser or a bit of a tighter neckline. And I went for the looser one at first because I don't like anything too tight up in my neck, but it looked a bit odd. And I think you could sort of almost see bra straps on the side. So I went for a tighter one and now it's slightly too tight. So really I should rip it out and do it again, but that's just me. So that was a whip last time. It is now a finished object and it's lovely to wear, especially sort of on a spring evening when it gets a bit chilly. My second finished object you also saw last time, and it was the Courage Henley by Tori, which is a top-down worsted weight saddle shoulder Henley style pattern. You can see there's the saddle shoulder. It features these interesting decreases on the sleeve, a pretty boxy oversized fit. And yeah, I knit this in yarn that I got in Switzerland. So it's a Swiss yarn from a brand called Jacob. It is merino cashmere nylon, and it is also held with a Make It tweed yarn from Rico Design. Apologies if the frame has just changed. I've had a million deliveries of parcels today. Now Pearl's about to knock the tripod over. And every time they go crazy, crazy, so I have to pause with what I'm doing. Anyway, where were we? The Courage Henley, top down, saddle shoulder, really fun to knit, really enjoyable. Lovely little Henley neckline. And yeah, overall a very successful knit. I'm really happy with it. I was playing some serious yarn chicken at the end, and that's my fault. I think I miscalculated how much yarn I needed, and obviously being a foreign yarn, very hard to acquire in the UK. Right, let's move on to finished object number 3, which has now fallen down. I'm whizzing through these, aren't I? I'm so sorry if I go really fast. I'm feeling a little bit under time pressure, and I have a lot of finished objects and I don't really want to bang on about them for ages. I mean, you saw those two previously, didn't you? So it's a little bit different. But my next finished object is very cute. There we are. It is the Lyon Sweater Junior by Petiteknit. It features the beautiful contiguous saddle shoulder, not contiguous saddle, just contiguous shoulder construction that we know and love from Petiteknit. There are a few designs that she's done with this construction, one of them being the Lyon Sweater Kids and Adults. She has the Poppy Tee, the Maggie cardigan and the Eva cardigan, I believe, all have this construction type, and I really, really enjoy it. That's why I'm so aware of all the other ones. Essentially, you start off with a back and you do some rapid increases along there and make this little trapezoidal shape. You then pick up for the fronts and you just knit these really narrow little bits for the front, and then you pick up for the sleeve, and then once you've got sort of the back and the front and the sleeve on the needles, you continue down the yoke straight for the front and back, but you're increasing on the sleeve, and then you go into a raglan at the bottom. And I think I shortened it by a couple of centimetres because I was running low on yarn. This is King Cole Cherished in the shade Stone for the main colour, and loads of scraps, including some fluffy bits and pieces for the contrast colours, instead of just the one colour that Petiteknit sort of has in her pattern. And yeah, I made this for my 2-year-old niece, who has become a big fan of hand knitted jumpers, which is extremely sweet. So I am going to continue to make her handmade stuff. So that is finished object number 3. Number 4 is what I'm wearing, and it is my new design that is currently in the works. I haven't got a name for it yet. And I knit this in King Cole Cotton Top, which is a cotton acrylic blend, and I'm currently working on a second sample that I'll show you shortly. because I'm not 100% happy with this one. There's a couple of things I'm not happy with. The neckline, despite all the short rows, is still a bit high. And because I put so many short rows in here in order to make the shape come down quite a bit, because I've spoken before about my raglan issues. Obviously this one's a bit different because it's got a slit, but I still have some sort of sensory issues when it hits me too hard up there. But because I did so many short rows, I think I turned one stitch after the previous turn, it creates some bunching here, and this did not block out. As you can see, it just wants to create this little bubbling here. So I'm not 100% happy with that. The other thing I'm not 100% happy with, two things actually. Number one, the sleeve, this yarn has got too much acrylic in it for my personal preference. The sleeve doesn't have enough drape. It sort of sits quite rigidly. See it better when I'm not wearing my watch. And I made them a bit too short, but that's, you know, that's easily adjusted. So it's got a little balloony sleeve with a cute little cuff that sort of matches the neckline. And then what you can't see here, and I'm not going to show you, I experimented with a different way of making an anti-roll edge at the bottom. It was a huge fail. It's rolling terribly. So I might fix it. I might just leave it because this is not going to be the sample for the pattern. But essentially it's a top-down raglan DK weight, very standard, featuring some neat double knitting, some folded over edgings, and miles of stockinette. But it's very wearable, it's very comfortable, and it has a little bit of, you know, a little bit of something cute going on as well. So that ties me nicely into works in progress. And I think I'm at a decent spot to show you sample number 2. Don't mind me, if I'm just looking over there, I'm just trying to make sure I can see what the other dog is doing because she's been very quiet. This is sample number 2, and you won't be able to see because I'm not wearing it. So let me see if I can line up the raglans a bit. There we are. The shaping is a little bit different. I did the short rows less frequently in this front bit, therefore you can see even pre-blocking there is none of that bubbling happening. But I started the short rows in the sleeve, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, and it required a bit of maths, but essentially, there you go, this portion between these two raglan lines is the sleeve. And you can see the short rows happening there. So you're actually starting your short row turns right after this raglan line here, and therefore raising the back neck more and doing more back shaping, which I think leads to a really, really nice fit. So I'm really happy with how this is turning out, but obviously I need to block it in order to be able to show you better. And I have finished one sleeve, and I think you can already see this yarn has more drape. And now I'm just plodding along on the body. I'm really trying to hold this in a manner so you can see the full effect of this lovely pattern, but all the other sort of elements are very much the same. That's quite cute. This is my favourite yarn at the moment. It is King Cole Orchard. This is the shade Honey Crisp, and I'm playing around with names for the pattern. Something with honey, something with crisp, because it has a crisp sort of element to it. A crispness, if you will. So let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear if you've got any suggestions for names, what I could call this sweater. That would be a bit more original than just calling it the crisp sweater, because this may happen actually. It is a beautiful, really, really, really pale green that I absolutely love, and I'm hoping to have this finished by next episode and be wearing it. I absolutely love this colour though, so this sweater isn't going anywhere. I'm definitely still going to wear this. I just probably won't use it for the pattern pictures just because this doesn't look quite like the finished item, so I don't want it to be there, if that makes sense. Last but not least, my new cast on. You can see I'm in my lavender era, which is very weird for me because I don't commonly like purples, but we're experimenting with different things at the minute. And this is my new cast on. I've just joined in the second ball. I've done all this today. It is a fast grower. This is Serdar Stories. I can't remember off the top of my head what the shade name is. Let me double check if it has one on the ball band, because I've got another ball here. Shade Free Spirit, how lovely. So I am making a crochet sweater, and it is a design that goes sort of up and over. So you start at the bottom, you're doing this is the bottom ribbing of the back, and you do that sideways. That's quite common for crochet ribbing. And then you pick up along the top of it and you do this really cool lacy thing. It's all coming up a little bit cooler, bluer on camera. All of this is warmer in real life, as well as, you know, the one I'm wearing. And this design, I can't remember the name now, and it's on my phone and I'm filming on my phone, so I can't tell you. It is from the designer MJ's Off the Hook Designs crochet. Oh, this is terrible, isn't it? I think all her designs are on Etsy, and they are, she's got so many different designs, and she's got loads of designs with this mesh kind of look. So I'm making the V-neck sweater, and it is, like I said, an up and over. So you're going to work up to the back. This is the back done up to the armholes. I've now joined in the sleeves. So this whole thing becomes this massive sort of T-shaped thing where you go up and over the back, do the sleeves, do the V-neck, and then come down the body. And then I believe it's just a case of seaming up the sides and maybe doing some edging on the neckline. It's been really fun, and I think, especially seeing as I've got this new sort of newfound love of being a monogamous knitter, occasionally I do like a little bit of variety. So this is like the perfect amount for me to have a crochet project as well, because I think I'm a bit less serious about my crochet, but I really, really want this because it's going to look so cool over like a black or a white vest top, something like that, and jeans. I think it's going to look really, really fun. So I'm very excited about this. This yarn, by the way, is a very inexpensive yarn. It is cotton acrylic blend. It's very soft. It's very nice. I've used it for children's knits before. I found it a tiny bit squeaky to knit with, but to crochet with, it's not squeaky at all. I think it's wonderful. So there's so many really bright, fun, springy looking colours in this yarn as well, which is really, really nice. So I can highly recommend that you try this yarn and that you throw in some crochet in with your other projects, because I mean, I don't think I can achieve quite this kind of look with knitting. So I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about my projects. I am hoping to finish some of my older lingering projects at some point, but I'm not making any promises. And yeah, I would like to sort of do a bit more regular filming and not just throw a load of finished objects at you and ramble through them really quickly. Because what tends to happen is that I think about these videos before I do them. I think about them while I'm driving quite often, and I think, oh, it will take me quite a long time to walk you through this project and what I've done and the yarn and how I feel about it. And then I sit down and I film, and I'm done in under half an hour with all of it, which always blows my mind a little bit. So yeah, that is just how things are at the moment. But yeah, I'm really happy that you've been here to watch. I would love to hear what you're working on, whether this pace is way too fast. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment. I am LeaAmbarKnits on Ravelry and Instagram. If you fancy reaching out to me on Instagram, I love to chat to you. And I can't think of anything else I want to talk about. I think I might do a pattern roundup video at some point soon, because I really fancy giving that a go. So if that is something you would like to see me do, let me know what kind of roundup you would like to see, and I will keep you posted on this design. And I think if and when it becomes a design, I will write the pattern up, get it tech edited, and then do a nice long casual test knit. So if that's something you're interested in, please keep an eye out. And yeah, I hope to see you soon. Happy knitting. Bye bye.